So episode 23. What are we talking about? Anime or something? What's anime again? I don't even know what the fuck that is. Apparently, we're talking about anime. It's this type of cartoon that comes from Japan. Um, I don't know. Steven seems very eager to talk about this, or at least this is what I'm hearing. No. I'm sorry, not Steven. Jinsei. Jinsei seems very eager to talk about anime.
We stop. Let's stop. Let's stop early. Let's stop early. let's make note. Steven likes to take certain words and twist them in his mind, and the shit just gets crazy, and he just like runs with it.
What? Since when?
Since inception. Like
There's never been a thing.
I'm honestly, I truly believe that Steven was not really the sperm that was supposed to win. He went to the one that was beating him and was like, "Hey, buddy, I don't think you want to go out right now. Check it out."
Because I'm the champion here.
Nah, he was like, I heard they got something coming in 30 years called a pandemic. You don't want to go through that. Let me do it. And that's how Steven got here.
I didn't know his powers of deception, not even necessarily deception, but persuasion were that strong, considering, all the interactions I've had with him. But
that also goes in the fact that he used up all his powers right then and there. You know that one character who uses up all their powers in that moment, they become regular.
Oh yeah.
That was Steven. That was
like
Steven.
when the bad guy in an RPG turns to a good guy and all his fucking super badass powers are gone. He's just a regular ass character now.
Yeah, that was Steven was a villain in the ball sack, and he was born a hero, but a hero with no powers. It's crazy.
Damn, Mike is doing that robot shit again, Steven.
Dang.
So anyway, what y'all been up to? What y'all been doing this week? You get your stimmy?
I got mine. I know about.
Yeah, I got mine.
Kaho.
What you use your stimmy for?
I haven't used it for anything yet.
Me neither.
Well,
I'm thinking about getting. I want to get a better mic first of all. This is a good mic, but I want a one that plugs directly into the microphone thing, as opposed to use the microphone jack, as opposed to using a USB cord. I heard there are some that are like much better quality, but they use the jack instead of the USB.
So you're trying to jack it in instead of USB. Okay, for sure.
Of course.
So what?
But that's not gonna cost you $1,400.
No, the guy didn't say I was trying to spend all of it. I'm just saying that I want to get a better mic.
It's no longer a fantasy, Kyle. Come on, you got all this extra expendable income that you didn't have beforehand before Daddy Biden popped in the office. So
okay, I mean it should have been $2,000 if you ask me. But what are you spending yours on? Why ain't you spent yours yet? Since you over here pressing me and shit.
I haven't spent it yet.
That's what I said.
Because you know how I am. I am a worry wart of an adult. If I spend this money, something is gonna happen.
Nigga, pretend like it's Christmas and spend this money on me.
That's how I felt.
No.
Yes.
I absolutely cannot. I cannot, because I know how Murphy's Law works.
I do.
Anything bad that is gonna happen is gonna happen. It already started. Like, wait, I was looking into getting a car. I can absolutely drop this money up on a car. I really can't. Like, I could just be like, the government paid for this car. Like, honestly. But it was like, there's some as Robot Steven chimes in. Then like my dad's brother passes away. So him, my sister, and my brother possibly are going to be in like North Carolina in like the next couple of days. So yeah, make sure they have adequate funds to go out there and take care of business and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's just what?
So you just giving your money away to them?
No. It's just like, by large and part, it shouldn't affect me buying a car, but it's just like this could just be the tip of the iceberg. You know what I mean?
I mean, that's ain't you one of them people who believes in like manifesting and shit? Like, ain't you manifesting some bad shit by talking like that?
I think I don't believe that I am that. Why did you? Why is that a
I'm just
question?
saying, like, you brought this up with me before.
I brought up
Yeah.
what with you before?
Like the idea of like, oh, something bad might happen, and you're like, oh shit, Nikki, don't be manifest, don't be bringing that shit into light. Like, you came at me like that one time. All I'm doing is asking you the same question as
I
me.
know for a fact I didn't tell you you was manifesting bad juju. Stop
You
it.
did.
Did
You did. You did.
I asked what's the name for one home remedy for a swollen ankle, and now I'm a fucking I'm a mystic. That's what this is. Here we go.
Is that what you said? You a mystic?
I'm a mystic. I'm a mystic now. Yes, I done changed classes and shit because of you.
I mean, how that work for you?
I never did it through the power of melanin. I always heal pretty quickly as is.
Yeah.
You know how that shit goes.
Jinsei.
Mm-hmm.
There is something that you're going to be spending your money on, even though it's going to be a little bit.
What are you talking about, Steven?
That we're going on a lunch date.
This man, see, look, he trying to buy me. I'm not Billy. I'm not Billy. You can't Billy me.
I don't care about that guy anymore.
What if I become dependent upon you and your lunch?
Oh, then I'm going to say, I'm sorry, buddy. That's not going to happen this time around. I learned my lesson.
Steven, I'm a hyper aggressive compared to Billy. I would be in your face. Give me your lunch money, punk. I know where you park.
Oh, shit. I got to switch it up then.
I know that when you lock your car, you unlock it twice and then unlock it again. So that gives me a chance to get in your car and fucking wait for you.
All you got to do is hold the handle. Like,
You know,
get behind that shit when he's walking the other direction. Stick behind that shit and just hold one of the handles, and then he can't lock it.
I don't.
Rapscallion, Kaho. How you?
What? I don't know.
Sound like you done did this shit before.
Hey, you didn't hear this from me, Steven. Make sure you cut this part out.
Got it. To be
He
honest,
really don't cut it. Don't let him cut it. Stop
No, don't actually cut it. You, yeah. That's Steven's law right there.
I am the law.
Take serious the joking shit. Joke with the serious shit.
Yeah.
So,
ain't no law.
Does anybody else do that? Like when you go to work, my car is not even worth anything. I don't know even.
No, only your scary ass does that shit. Half the time, shit. Sometimes depending upon where I park, I forget to put the car in park.
What?
Yeah, if I'm on a flat surface, it ain't going nowhere.
Oh,
it's always a great surprise after 9 hours of work. You come in your car, your shit don't start because you up in fucking and drive still. You know what I mean?
What if a big gust of wind like pushes your car into another car? Boom, there you go.
Oh yeah, big gust of wind's gonna blow something that weighs like a ton.
Steven,
do you get tornadoes in California very often?
We get quakes.
I ain't talking about. You said a gust of wind.
A gust of wind caused by the earth quaking. Kaho, come on, bro. Get it together.
All right, I didn't think that's how the world worked. I've never heard of that
elements. Before. You don't know nothing about the elements, nigga.
I didn't know Steven was a earth/wind bender either.
Oh, I'm everything bender.
You're a what?
Everything.
A robot?
Everything bender.
Nigga, you need a new microphone. Like, what the fuck?
He probably just got his shit dangling and he need to fully plug it in. Like,
plug that shit in. What are you doing?
That's just, you already know how Steven did. Like, for real.
There's always something with this dude.
But yeah, I'm still leaning towards buying my car. I almost went out and drove out and bought that shit today. But
trying to get me a Bentley.
Okay.
Right here. Right. I hope I fall into some money and get your ass a Bentley.
Big body Bentley.
Is that better?
I hope it don't happen right now. We don't know yet.
It doesn't happen all the time. It just every now and then it just starts going.
So, Jinsei.
Transformer.
What kind of car are you getting?
A Camaro.
A Camaro?
Yeah.
What year?
It ranged from 2010 and up. Not nothing too new though. I don't want to do anything too new.
Don't you got like some fucking hoopty, Steven? How come every time you ask somebody about a car and they answer you, you go, a Camaro? A Bentley? Like what the fuck?
It's because he rode in a supercar.
Oh yeah.
You know what a supercar is, Steven?
A supercar, like with all the cars that we see in the parking lot, this would blow everything out in the waters. Like we were going like 170
Just
miles.
say what a fucking supercar is with all this. Get the fuck out of
It
here.
was a BMW, but it was like a SUV BMW.
A BMW is a supercar.
That's what he said.
Are you fucking serious?
It was like a $75,000 car.
That doesn't make it a supercar.
Doesn't make it. Yeah, like what the fuck?
I'll never have that much money.
What is your qualifier for the word super?
Anything above 60,000.
You realize you could just be charged for some shit. Like you could just be
like
you pay for the name mostly.
I'm trying not to call you names right now.
That's good. That's called growth. Good job.
Appreciate it.
Resin.
So, speaking,
I like that reference.
Speaking of stimulus checks, you guys want to know what I bought mine?
Bought with yours? Go ahead.
So I bought a capture card. I bought like 5 games, and I made the biggest mistake of my entire life yesterday morning because I woke up around 7. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go in. I'm going to go on Twitter. I'm going to go on Walmart.com. I'm going to go on Amazon.com and look for Xbox because I know I'm not going to be able to get a PS5 right now.
Oh, are you serious? They dropped yesterday, the day before, and today.
Oh, I suck at life. So, anyways, continuing on.
Go ahead.
I decided to buy Xbox One X Series, and guess what happened?
Series X.
Isn't it called Xbox Series X?
Yes, I wasted $300.
How?
Drop that bitch in the toilet or something?
No, I ordered it online, but I accidentally bought the Scalp World one when I could have gone onto Amazon and bought it for the normal price.
How do you what?
So
Are you fucking serious?
I'm serious. Want me to show you my receipt?
No. How the hell do you buy a scalped one without checking actual retailers first?
Because I was tired and I thought I knew what I was doing. I was like drunk Steven, even though I wasn't drunk.
Try not to call this nigga names.
It's okay. I deserve this one, so they can't say you guys are being mean to me tonight because I feel stupid.
Kaho's growing. Let him grow.
Hey, at least it wasn't my own actual money. Okay, at least give me that much credit.
If you were in possession of the money, is it not yours?
It is mine, but I feel like it's not mine at the same time because it was just handed to us. Like, if it was my own work money, no, that would be a different story.
You're fucking retarded.
I am retarded.
Sorry, I'm supposed to not.
It's okay, Kaho.
Oh my god.
I understand the sentiment of saying, "Oh, this is like extra money or something like that. Let me go crazy." I mean, it's like you are at the core of your very being consumer.
But hey,
so you're also a stupid ass Republican. You pay taxes, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what the stimulus check is?
Tax return.
It's a tax return.
Well,
so quit saying stupid shit like that. For the love of God. I don't even believe in God.
By the way, I had an awful...
It's just money that came out of nowhere and they gave it to me, just like they gave it to all the homeless people who were asking me for drugs. Fucking moron.
Hey, explain to Steven where... because what's our national debt up to now?
Oh, I don't even want to know.
Is it 22 trillion, Kaho? Is that, or is it more than that?
Somewhere around there.
All right, explain to him who we owe.
China. Korea.
Explain to him, Kaho.
What's the point, man? Do you hear the stupid shit he's saying? It's going to go in one ear and out the other. Because we've already talked about this before. We already talked about economics before. We already talked about taxes before. And he came in here and said, they're giving away money for free.
Hear me out, Kaho.
I don't want to hear you out.
Me and Tiffany had a little discussion today. Think I need to listen to people more. So, I'm like, you know what? You're right.
You've also had 23 discussions as of today, recorded on the internet, that you need to listen to people more.
Yeah.
But anyway, is Tiffany Asian?
Mexican.
Oh, okay. I always think it's the roundness of her face, I think.
I mean, she just got a lot of freckles. Well, she had. Did I tell you this?
Freckles ain't got nothing to do with it, brother. Come on.
Well, she does have birth, not really birth defects. But
Yeah. Don't be. Stop that.
But anyway,
Could you be threatening her? Like, I'm gonna get you deported, because that seems like something you would do.
no, she slaps me down more than I slap her down.
He sounded whoa. He sounded really offended that you even brought that up, Kyle. No. What's wrong with you?
Everybody around me knows I'm not actually racist.
Who's everybody?
Jinsei knows.
Like your family?
No.
I don't even think you're racist. I just think you're fucking like so far down the rabbit hole when it comes to like Republican talking points and bullshit beliefs that have no proof behind them whatsoever.
And that's where I'm going to learn from my mistakes and not talk about them ever again.
This is why I want you to tell him who we owe, Kaho. 22 trillion.
Go ahead, tell me.
I think it would be a much better use of your time if you studied this shit yourself.
You know what? I'm going to
actually put in the effort to do that, because I have told you about this before. Like I've told you not only about the debt and the deficit, but like taxes in general and like the whole homeless thing. Like I explained all of it to you, and you're like, "Huh, you know what? You make a lot of sense." And then fucking Abby comes on, and you're like, "You're asking me for drugs."
Why does it?
Well, to be fair, the whole your faith thing kind of threw me off guard. To be honest,
my what thing?
The whole faith thing.
What? So what? And what you can't think like inside of yourself?
No, I can, but it's like I don't know. I'm at a weird place in my life.
That doesn't mean anything. There you go, being a robot again.
Do you change like what USB port you use?
I must have. Let me try to fix this before we continue on.
Oh, we continue.
Here we fucking go.
You better not hear pause or nothing like that. Like, oh my god. If you wasted 19 precious minutes of me and Kaho riffity raffity.
No, I heard my voice. So
I used to talk out of it. Anyway,
hey, cut this part out.
Why?
Because Steven going back and doing some bullshit, and he's also the one recording, so we don't know what it's doing to this right now.
Okay. Better?
We don't know. It doesn't happen all the time. It's just like every now and then.
So I kind of had another thing I wanted to guys ask you. I have before we jump into the anime whole thing.
I kind of had another thing I wanted to kind of ask you guys.
Did you guys have a better week? Because I sure had a suckiest week I ever had in my life.
Tell us, Steven, why was your week so bad?
I had a horrible work week. I have never experienced anything like this in my entire life. I lost everything at work.
Lost everything? Like
he's not lying.
Your family died, like your dog left you. What do you mean when you say lost everything?
He means in terms of Frozen. In terms of Frozen, the department he works in.
What, like the refrigerators go out and you lose all your food?
So listen, this is how bad it was. Okay, so it was I think it was like 7:30, right? And I just, I'd be making my morning trek through the store after I clock in, say what's up to, the wife over there in the bakery area and everything like that. So I was like, damn, look at these frozen doors. They empty. We emptied them out the day before or 2 days before. And it's 47 degrees outside, or it's like 50 degrees. No, 47 degrees.
Not even hot.
Right? Outside, Kaho. So in the store, it's like 60 degrees or whatever the fuck. In the freezer section where the vegetables would be, I put my hand in there and it warmed me up. It was 87 degrees in the freezer section. In the doors, it was 87 degrees.
What the fuck?
I think it's just like, because if I'm not mistaken, I didn't live in the city, so this is like when they remodeled the store the first time and they added on the food section, because remember back in the day, all Walmarts didn't have food in the store. It's just like the way the building is set up, like that part of the building is just like the oldest part, where the fucking all the machinery and everything that runs the freezer. Also, Walmart's just kind of stupid in how they set shit up.
Y'all niggas don't have like HVAC companies out there to take care of the shit? Hasn't this been going on for a while now?
Literally, I think the dude like worked all day on it, went back or went to the parking lot, slept, got up in the morning and continued to work on it. I think he didn't leave the store for like 3 days. They just restocked it on Wednesday. They started restocking it on Wednesday.
I mean, Steven restocked it all by himself.
Steven was off. He was off. So it was like all the managers on duty were stocking it. I stopped in and picked me up something to snack on because I had just left the gym. So yeah, I seen him over there.
How'd you have the worst? If you didn't have to restock all that bullshit because you were off, how'd you have the worst week?
I literally cried when I first saw it. Like I manned up when I was on the clock. When I was like, I can.
If you tell me right now that you went to the car and you cried,
you could just tell me to listen here.
Yeah, he said, "Listen here." He want to let you know how bad his day was.
Tell me.
I literally had to throw. Well, Jinsei helped me, but I did the bulk of it. But Jinsei did help me a lot, which I appreciate. I was throwing out food for literally 4 days in a row, nonstop.
Steven, Jackie, all of Cap One, Brandon, Freddie, fucking Josiah, Christian, every manager that was in the building. Like, what are you talking about? Man?
Okay, everybody. Well,
yeah, everybody. Stop putting the fucking onus upon you. Like, it wasn't just you. In any aspect of it, it definitely wasn't just you.
Everybody.
But you probably, yeah, I did it all by myself. One man, all alone.
By myself.
Okay, on Tuesday I was by myself.
No, you wasn't. You had like little bit of sections to do. Steven, stop being
okay.
Little punk. Okay.
Anyway.
I think what he does is he has the protagonist zoom in is what I call it. It's like when say there's a war going on and like the protagonist is having a moment in an anime and like time slows down and everything just focuses on him. You can't really tell what's going on in the background. You can't tell what people are saying, what they're saying to him or whatever. It's just focus on this character and his thoughts. I think Steven does that like in his own head and just completely ignores the fact that there are people around him actually doing shit.
Yeah, plus, it depends upon who talks to him beforehand and how they put the shit to him. He's going to flip it in his mind to where this is all totally his responsibility, all his fault, and he's the only reason it'll ever get better. Which, I mean, is fine, I guess, to some degree. It's just not true.
Until you start talking about the shit.
Yeah, it's just not true.
Anyway, no, it was rough.
It was. He probably lost I hate to say it, but he probably lost like $200,000 worth of food.
Not that much?
Damn.
Are you serious?
If you take into account that like we threw away everything.
No, I was throwing stuff like you saw me like after you helped, even though you guys didn't help. I was still throwing stuff after you guys.
Even though you helped, even though you didn't help.
Even though you helped, it was like, well, even though you guys were there, I did most of the shit.
No, I'm not saying.
What I'm saying is, but what I'm telling you is, literally anything. Like, think about the shit that people don't buy normally, and then think about the shit they buy normally. So after that shit sat there for like days because we had to keep the doors locked and or tied up so nobody got up in the shits. So you had to throw all that shit away. So all the shit that they don't buy normally, the shit that don't move, where you only move like 1 unit per week, you threw all that shit away. Conversely, it just means that everything you have in your freezer is going to go on the shelf. And maybe like the next couple days, just going to go straight from truck to shelf every day.
They get the freezer working?
Yeah, I guess they did. But it's like, I wouldn't even put the shit on the freezer, back in the freezers yesterday. I would have waited till Friday. You're already at a huge ass loss. You put the shit up in there and that shit goes down again, you're going to be at a bigger loss.
Well, where else are you going to put it?
A reefer truck. You order a truck and it just sits outside and you unload the load and put it up in there.
Oh, I got you.
I was one step closer to finding a new apartment that week.
Yeah, he wasn't, by the way. He was never that close.
Imagine that. Steven saying shit that ain't true. Who'd have thunk?
I say a lot of stuff that isn't true.
Like, you don't have to tell me that.
Gets me into trouble all the time.
You don't have to tell me that, nigga. You do not have to tell me. You don't have to tell the listeners that because I'll be calling you out for that shit all the time.
That's fine. So
You ain't really even got to say it. Like everybody knows it.
I take back what I said about people not helping me, but it did suck that week, regardless of the situation.
Okay.
Plus, it was just a long ass week in general due to the time change and everything.
Oh, that's
Oh
why.
yeah, that extra hour, so long.
Yeah, I forget. I think I was. Yeah, bruh. That hour is big. Your ass was just probably up during it. That's all.
Nope, I actually slept through it. This is actually first time that I've ever just slept through the shit. Like I did, it didn't affect me at all. I went to sleep and I woke up and didn't even notice that the time changed until I was in my car because the I have it so that the time doesn't change automatically set in my car because I don't like that. Until I looked at that, I was like, oh yeah, daylight savings is right. Like 3 days after.
Why don't tell me why you don't like that?
Because the aliens.
No, seriously, tell me why.
I don't know. It's just been a thing that I like to set myself.
Okay.
Speaking of
controlling ass nigga.
I just like to fuck with the buttons.
Always gotta be in control. It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, we got a topic now.
Okay.
We've had a topic. We've been talking about the topic.
Do you guys
lame ass
think aliens exist right now?
Nigga, let me ask you first. Do you?
Honestly,
Low key, Steven, you probably an alien.
I mean, not gonna lie.
Answer the question.
I don't know. It's hard to explain because, like, I don't want to be the.
Did God make aliens, Steven? Or is that a concept that was come up with by humans?
I honestly don't know because I don't want to sound stupid. So my answer
There's
is
nothing in the Bible about aliens. I'm just asking you what you think. It's completely subjective at this point.
Technically, are dinosaurs aliens?
Nope. They were just large lizards that lived on the earth before we did.
Then if it wasn't in the Bible, I'm gonna assume I'm gonna have to say
dinosaurs were in the Bible, you idiot.
I know that, but I'm gonna say aliens.
Were they?
Yep.
Yeah, they were. They used to like they used to coexist with humans.
Yeah, but if you believe in creationism, you believe that those dinosaurs existed before 2,000 years ago because that's when the Earth was created, apparently.
I don't like to get too technological on people because I don't have the right
technical logic. What the fuck? I'm sorry. What?
I don't like to get too technical because I can't even back up my own words, and I just gonna make people mad. But I don't believe, from my own personal experience, without like what I believe in, I don't think that aliens exist. Because listen to my perspective. Why haven't we seen aliens, like bigger signs? Yes, I get it, there's UFOs and stuff like that, but why haven't we seen like anything like crazy happen, like a whole spaceship that's crash landing down where everybody knows about it? Why haven't we seen anything like that yet?
Why haven't we seen any miracles? Why haven't we seen the earth being flooded? Why haven't we seen swarms of locusts? Why haven't we seen angels or burning bushes that God speaks from? Technically, what?
I know this for a fact that in the Bible that God said he would never flood the earth again because in the Bible he made a flood happen a long time ago, and then he said next time he destroys the earth it's going to be by fire. So like basically that's going to be like the earth is going to open up and fire is going to spew everywhere, and then everybody's just going to burn to death.
Okay. Why haven't we seen any of the miracles that happened in the Bible? And there were a lot of them. Why haven't we seen any of them happen in like several thousand years?
Because after God went back to heaven, after he got crucified, he majority of the activities kind of like vanished.
The majority of wasn't he supposed to come back like 20 years ago or something?
No, all that stuff is OBS.
We don't know. Broadcast system?
We don't.
Sound like you said OBS. I also forgot I was sitting here with you both. Did y'all hear that just now or no?
Yeah.
What was that? Your sister?
No. It was a video playing. All right, but go ahead, continue. I'm listening.
Anyway, it's like we don't. He stated in the Bible.
Wait, did you say all BS or OBS?
No,
He said
no.
all BS, but it did
Okay.
sound like he said OBS.
Okay,
Yeah.
the BS. Anyway, he did state we do not know when he's gonna come back. So like it could be tomorrow, it could be within 100 years from now, it could not even be in our lifetime. There are signs like people say like the pandemic is a sign. I don't know if that's true or not. The pandemic a man-made thing.
It's not man-made. It's just something that got out because of human like error. It's actually naturally occurring, and it was because it was, as with all of the previous COVID. It came from animals. It's our fault, not our fault, but it's due to human error that it spread. But it's not like, and then a great finger reached down from the heavens and bestowed the first human with COVID-19. God said unto thee, "You got the Rona, bitch."
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised I never got corona yet.
You don't go nowhere.
I like how you. All right, well, I guess that conversation's over.
Okay. Yeah. Jinsei, I want your like opinion. Like, what if you like you guys know my beliefs a lot more than I know your guys' beliefs. Like Jinsei, like do you believe in evolution? Like, do you believe in creation? Like, what is your point of view?
I believe that I don't know everything, and because I don't know everything, I don't doubt it. So anything could be true, and everything could be a lie. We could have been put here by aliens. We could be somebody's pets, even.
That's crazy. I heard it.
It could be. We could all be the same soul reincarnated over and over again. It
All
could
right,
be
moving into that that mystic shit.
yeah. I mean, see, now you got me really. See, motherfucker. Now I really feel like a mystic. I mean, you don't believe that like certain parts of our soul, Kaho, just attached to each other for a reason? Like maybe, like this nigga Kaho is a piece of me.
Whoa.
I mean,
All of me.
like I think we have like emotional connections, but I don't think that necessarily has anything supernatural to it. Or at least I don't have any proof that it does. Or
exactly. So I don't have any proof to anything that is and anything that isn't.
I
I
mean,
am
proof of
open.
evolution, though.
I mean, I ain't never seen nothing evolve right in front of me.
Nigga, just all right. Have you ever seen? Have you ever seen the fucking? Have you ever seen the fucking moon landing?
A frog.
Nope.
Have you ever seen like? I don't know. Have you ever seen a fucking train wreck before, like in front of you?
I ain't never heard no tree fall neither, so I don't know if it make a sound, nigga. What's up?
You really just gonna take this bitch ass like fence sitting centrist position? Like, oh, I don't know nothing, so ain't nothing real, but everything is real. I don't have any proof that it's not real, but I don't have any proof that it's real. So everything is real, but nothing's real.
What's wrong with that? Do you have to be on one side of the fence or the other? This is not as concrete as being light skin and dark skin.
I mean,
hey.
When it comes to shit,
what is he saying hey for? What is Steven saying hey for?
We're all people.
Bitch, you don't even know what he's talking about. Nigga, get you some melanin and then speak on the subject.
Yeah.
But still, like, we have proof of some of this shit. Like just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean that we don't have like fucking tons of peer-reviewed studies and shit. Like we don't have macro scale evolution because that shit takes centuries, eons. But we do have micro scale evolution.
So we do. I believe that all these thick white women is part of the evolution. I ain't gonna lie. The thoughts out there, that's part of evolution.
You ain't gonna front.
Like they have like century running tests that have been like being conducted on like animals, on rats and shit like that. Like to see if you were to put a a family of like mice or rats or something in an environment that they're not normally in, and then like just document this shit over decades and decades and centuries, and like they notice that, excuse me, they notice that these rats begin to change to adapt to their surroundings.
Okay.
Okay,
And I
guys.
said that's fair, and I can accept that. I think, are you confused on my stance of being all accepting to everything that could possibly be?
Well, I mean, you just gave
I'm
like a
not
very
dismissing. I'm not dismissing anything. Is what I'm saying. I'm saying I can accept. I can accept there being a God once I find out. I can accept there not being one once I find out. I can accept all of that. I'm not
I
gonna.
mean,
I'm not skewing to any one side of the fence here.
I'm not questioning like the agnostic viewpoint. I was focused specifically on when I said you don't believe in evolution, even though we have proof. You said, "Nigga, I ain't never seen nothing evolve unless you're talking about Charmander." Charmander.
Yeah, let me
Actually,
get my joke off. What the fuck?
Fuck your joke. Your
what
joke's
about a tadpole into a frog?
That's just growth. That's not necessarily evolution. Evolution is when the resultant thing grows differently based on its surroundings, based on like new settings, new environment, new information, new everything. So like if a tadpole grows from a human being, or not a human being, a tadpole grows into a frog, and then the next tadpole grows into a frog, and then the next tadpole after that grows into a fucking megalodon, then you have to go, whoa, let's take a step back. Let's look at the process by which this specific thing changed, because we were expecting this tadpole, which came from a frog, to turn into another frog, not into a megalodon. So now you have to go through the process of backtracking and taking a look at this tadpole's life and seeing like what environment was it in? Was it like did it eat more? Did it eat less? Was it exposed to more sun? Was the climate colder? Higher elevation? You have to take into consideration every single spectrum that you can in order to try and find why you got, instead of a frog from the tadpole, a megalodon. And it's the same thing. Like why did at one point a part of the ape species, why did it go from being like primates to humans? So like, why did this happen? And it's not like we haven't found like fossilized remains of like the species that came between the ape and the human. You have the fucking what are they called, the big prominent brow, whatever the fuck they're called. You have like the fucking australopithecans. You have all the races like, have you ever seen the chart where it's like an ape at the back and then it's like a slightly like an ape that's like walking a little bit taller, and then it's like
Yeah, I seen that.
the middle between like an ape and human, and then you have like your whatever the fuck, and then you have your human being. Like we have remains from all of these different species that were between the ape and the human, and the majority of them, like the reason they found them is because they were fossilized in like amber and shit like that. Shit that preserves remains when they get stuck in it.
Yeah, Steven, you ain't ever seen Jurassic Park before?
All of them, actually. Number one was the best.
I assume you have at least some understanding of this concept then.
Yes, I'm aware of it. Like Darwinism.
That's what the fuck. Oh my god. You just throw out words and hope that they're the right words, but they're not the right words.
My bad.
It really is your bad. Let's talk about something else, please.
So, moving on, I got another topic for you guys.
Okay.
Do you think that, say if like eventually, like the way you look at it, we're growing population like crazy, right? Left like every year the baby's born, right? So the Earth multiplies, population of humans multiply and multiply and multiply. When we exhaust the Earth, do you think that we're gonna be able to find other sustainable planets like like Earth, or the Earth is Earth it.
Were we talking about this when Abby was on? Like, sort of.
All right,
Like,
I
talking
don't
about
think so.
the planets in different Goldilocks zones. Were we talking about that, or was I talking about that to somebody else?
You were talking about that with somebody else.
Okay. Okay. Well, then, no. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I was just talking about it with just Abby. Whatever. I was watching this thing a couple weeks ago. It was a YouTube. I don't know if it was a documentary. I don't know what to call it actually. But it was about these newer, high-powered. I say new, but relatively new, high-powered telescopes that were flown into space and being used to record data from light years and light years away from like different galaxies. And I think they found like several thousand different planets, which were in what's called the Goldilocks zone around the sun, that they orbit around. And what the Goldilocks zone is it's the zone that is uh, it's a distance from the sun where it's not too far that the planet just becomes a ball of ice, and it's not too close that the planet just boils, like, boils off everything on it. This gives the planet the proper, well, not necessarily, but it can give the planet the proper like setting for atmospheres to grow, for plant life, for water, most importantly, because you need, or at least we think that you need water for life to exist. So and it's not, even though there are several thousand in the Goldilocks zone, it doesn't necessarily mean that they can sustain life just because they're in their zone. You still have like gas giants that are in that zone, or you still have frozen planets that are in that zone. And what that means is that the planet itself either came close more recently or just pulled back away from its sun recently. Because if it's still frozen, then it needs time to thaw. And if it's a gas giant, or if it's like it just means that the atmosphere itself was too hot and it just boiled everything on there. So and as far as we know, we can't sustain life on gas giants. Like we even have them in our own solar system. Like go to Jupiter, for example, or go to Venus. It's like a fucking ball of magma. It's too hot. But like the universe is ever expanding. Things are always moving outward. So who's to say that Venus won't eventually move far away enough from the sun and be in a Goldilocks zone, and then over several millions, if not billions of years, eventually cool down enough to where it can begin to sustain life. We don't know.
I'll let you know when I get out the cryo chamber right after Walt Disney.
But to answer your question, Stephen, the growth of the human race has actually slowed down, and that's mostly due to the information age. Like people now know, like when you wanted information from somewhere, you would have to go to a library in the past. Now people have libraries accessible, or libraries worth of information available to them any time of the day. And what that means is that people are no longer just like listening to like the news or like what fucking pastors say and shit and taking that shit as gospel. Now they have like, oh, okay, well my pastor said if I have sex with my girlfriend before marriage, then her troll that lives inside of her vagina, Pillow Pants, is gonna bite my dick off or something like that. And now people who live in rural communities with even the slowest connection can look this shit up, like, what is a pussy troll, and find out that it's not true. It's just stupid shit that they've been telling them in churches and shit to keep them from having premarital sex.
Let's Google it real quick. What's a pussy troll?
I got that from Clerks too.
Because I ain't never heard that shit before. So let me
Pillow
Google it.
Pants, the pussy troll, and Lister Fiend, the mouth troll. That means you can't kiss until you're married.
It
Wow.
says a definition via Clerks 2.
Yeah. But it's just like stupid, silly, supernatural, unbelievable shit like that has been being passed down through antiquity, by people who hold religious views. So now that and it works in the opposite direction too. Like people are like, oh, okay, I can get an STD. What the fuck is an STD? And then they search Google image search an STD, and it's like, I don't want that shit. I ain't fucking no. I ain't having no. I ain't having sex with nobody. At least not unless I have a condom. Last thing I want is like giant fucking boils on my dick. And the spread of this information, telling people like, hey, and this is why like drug usage has also gone down like worldwide over the years.
Except
Because
for
now,
the dudes who want to get drugs from Steven.
apparently, yeah. So now, and like people can look online and see like, what does this drug do? So instead of listening to somebody say, yeah, man, all you gotta do is shoot up this black tar heroin in your eyeball and you blast off, man. People are like, let's Google search black tar heroin. Oh, this shit can kill you? No, I ain't doing that. Like the more informed the populace is, the less that they have to listen to people who just say shit, for either for their benefit or just because, they believe it due to their lived experience.
Don't ever Google pussy troll.
I could have told you like that one. Like what?
You couldn't have told shit because you don't
You
know.
couldn't have said shit. Get the fuck out.
But like now that and since people have that information, they tend to engage in detrimental and deleterious things far less often. That includes like having unprotected sex, which now that more people know about the shit, despite the fact that, and this is true, religious arms are trying to fight against the dissemination of sexual education and have been for decades now. Like that's why sexual education has been cut out of most schools around the United States.
What?
Yeah, it's been cut out because you have people who lobby on behalf of Christians, on behalf of Catholics, on behalf of Muslims, on behalf of all because they don't want the doctrine or the imperative that is passed down through religious text, which is go forth and multiply. They don't want that to be what the fuck was that? They don't want that to be bumped up against, by people knowing things, for better or for worse. Some people do it. Some people like actually truly believe this shit. So they fight back against it because they think that they're actually doing some real good. But some other people believe it because it's like, hey, I want my religion to be the top religion. And how do you do that? You have more people who belong to your religion. And in order to do that, you need more people. That's just what that is. Like, have you ever played Civilization before?
Yes, I have. Civilization 6, I believe.
Yeah, you need to work on that tongue work, homie.
Civilization.
Yeah, and like how you can win a match via religion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know where they got that idea from?
Where?
Real life.
Huh.
Like, what is our government is called a democracy because supposedly the people control the outcomes, votes and shit. Yeah, fucking right. What is it called? What is a religion called if or not a religion? What is a country called? The country's governance. What is it called if a religion owns it, Stephen?
Can't remember off the top of my head.
Do you remember at least the first letter?
NA?
No. So can you not remember, or do you just not know?
I just not know.
That's what I thought. It's called an oligarchy.
I never.
Oh. Yeah, you've never heard of that word. That doesn't surprise me. But like, look at, and it's pretty fucking ironic too. But look at like the Middle East. right? You have
Yeah.
a lot of countries that are run by oligarchies, that are run by people who belong to a religious sect, mostly Muslims of some sort. And those religious sects, they make laws based around what they get out of their holy book. This is why the populace, even though not all of the populace, but this is why some of the populace in these different countries don't mind that people are executed in the streets. This is why, like how we were talking with Abby about women being stoned to death. This is why, mercy, or not mercy, but honor killing. Like somebody's daughter who was like 25 went out and found a boyfriend, and they had sex, and their family found out, and the father of the family killed the daughter, and there are no like repercussions for that. He honor kills his own daughter because she went out and had sex before marriage.
That's
Like
crazy.
who put that sex before marriage shit out there? You think that was like some Democratic Party, some Republican Party, or do you think that was religion?
Religion.
Exactly, it was. And that's just what you get when you have an oligarchy. You have shit that we would balk at, like the idea of throwing somebody off of a rooftop because they're gay, and it being perfectly fine. Like the fucking police will be standing down and like, there he goes, and they won't do anything about it. The people who perpetrate these type of crimes get away with it because it comes out of religious text. Now imagine we had that shit here in the United States.
That wouldn't even fly.
No, you would be dead, Stephen.
Oh yeah.
You would be dead because, well, they say to kill the lame.
Mm.
When they
And
mean,
I don't mean like you're not cool or anything, but just like based off of what you've told us, like you have a few afflictions or conditions, let's call them.
I may be wrong here, Kaho, but when you're talking about lame, that means that you can't walk, like period.
Well, that's a part of it, but that's not a biblical definition. A biblical definition just means, when it says lame, means something that isn't
all there.
something. Well, technically yes, something that is like has any sort of deformation by definition of the word. Like someone who was like born without a hand would be considered lame and would be cold or killed. In like, if you don't know what cold means, it means to kill something. Or people who are born blind. Now these people still existed, but they usually existed in like the outskirts of civilization, as the Bible described it. So they existed in slums, away from the like, I don't know, I guess you would call them like guard, like town guards and shit, like village guards and shit. Like they existed away from the eyes of these people, and people in the Bible, like they knew that there's something wrong with killing people. Like even if because like they would have a son or a daughter who was born lame, because there was a lot of incest back then, presumably. So people were born with deformations a lot more often.
Why was that? Do you know?
Because as the Bible describes it, there weren't as many people on the earth. Like fucking when what's his name, when Adam and Eve had children, their children left them, they left their sides to go out and exist in the world, to be fruitful and multiply, right? Who are they multiplying with, though?
Exactly.
There's not just new people out in the world, and nowhere in the Bible does it say that God created more people. He said he created Adam and Eve, and from Adam and Eve sprouted everyone else. So that means that everybody's fucking their brother, sister, cousin, uncle, auntie, mother, whatever the fuck. And it's just it just means that if, or I should say, what I'm getting at is, if we had more an oligarchical governance in the United States, you would see a lot of shit here, like you see in other countries in the Middle East or third world countries in general, where people don't have the resources that we have. They don't have the information that we have, or at least they don't have as easy of access to the information. So who do they rely on to tell them what's what, to tell them what they should do, to give them purpose in life? They rely on
Their government.
they rely on holy men. They rely on religious people. And I guess technically, yeah, their government, because their government, more often than not, is at the very least very heavily influenced by religion. And that's why I'm against of having like these stupid ass laws that are presented by people who are religious. We can't allow gay people to get married. Like, why not? Because the Bible says so. Doesn't the Bible also say that if you wear a mix of two fabrics that you're sinning and you're not going to go to heaven? Doesn't the Bible also say that just like how there's so much shit that it says it's just wrong. Like do you know the story of Lot, Steven?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Okay, go ahead. Like, tell me what I'm getting at here. Tell me what's wrong with it.
Didn't Lot like sleep with a lot of women, and
You're kind of close, or you're close, but it's not just a lot of women.
like 1,000, right?
Hmm?
And he sleep with like 1,000 people.
That's not the problem. It's not the issue. Come on, Steven.
Hold on.
Are you actually Google searching this shit?
A little bit.
Oh my god. All right, let's wait. Let's see what he finds. Have anything at all to add, Jinsei?
To this now. Go ahead. Yeah, I got it.
You're so helpful.
How am I supposed to help you with this? This is
Okay, I got something here.
All right, hit me.
Notable events in Lot's life includes his journey with his uncle Abraham and his flight from the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. Sodom and Gomorrah, during which Lot's wife became a pillar. A pillar. I know this one now. Of salt and made drunk by his daughters so that they can have children with him.
So what does that mean? That very last part that you just said, what does that mean?
That's like his daughters wanted to have babies with their father.
What did they do? You just read it. What did they do?
Incest.
Beyond that, what did they do? Yes, yes, incest, yes, but
they made them drunk.
Okay, they got him drunk, and then what did they do?
Raped him.
They raped their own father.
That's messed up.
Yeah. It's your Bible at work, bitch. So imagine that. Imagine something like that. And then you have like a holy person justifying rape with that. Oh, that bitch, she got raped. That's fine. It was in the Bible. Lot's daughters did it, and God didn't strike them down. Right? So this man who just raped this woman's daughter, perfectly fine. It was in the Bible. Lot's daughters got to live full lives, didn't they? Why shouldn't he? Don't even put him in jail. Just let him go.
Out of curiosity, Kaho, how do you know so much about the Bible?
I went to church when I was younger, and I paid attention to the things that were being said. Do you know why I didn't continue with it?
Why?
Why I don't follow religion, even though it was a part of my growing up. It was a part of my life.
Yeah, why is that? Like, why did you not stop going?
I didn't stop going. It's just that I developed what is called critical thinking, the ability to think about the things that are being told to me without, and look at them from different angles, the ability to take the information that I'm being presented with and then question it.
How,
Like, go ahead.
how did your parents feel about how did your parents feel about this when they discovered you were critical thinking?
Oh, they weren't happy. Both my mom and my dad are very religious, so they were not happy about it. I still went to church. I still listened, I still paid attention, and I still absorbed what was being told to me. I just also, like, after church, on the drive home, I would sit in the car and I would talk to my dad, like, this shit doesn't really make sense. We had the conversation about Lot and his daughters. My dad had nothing that he could say about it. He tried, like, he gave it some thought. He thought about it. So there's that, but like he couldn't justify it in his own head. And like I pressed him on the question. I asked him a really hard question. I was like, what if someone were to attack one of my older sisters? Then what? Could you turn around and say, well, it happened in the Bible, so it's justified? He just didn't have an answer for me. And as that happened more and more and more, to me, in my eyes, it just started to like, wow, okay. I can ask these questions, but I'm not really getting any answers for them. Like, the people that I look up to, my mom, my dad, and then people who were even further in it, my uncles who were like a part of the actual church staff, and then like even when my dad got some time for us to sit down with a couple of the pastors.
Like, what did the pastors say when so you actually went to counseling, right?
Counseling? No, why would I need to go to counseling?
Like, you sat down with pastors and then it's like, hey, you asked them questions or no?
It wasn't counseling. It was more of like the church was having a picnic, and my dad was like, "Hey, my son wants to ask you guys some questions." And I sat down, and the answer that I got the majority of the time when it came to people who were in authoritative positions in the church would say, "Oh, well, it's all about what's the fucking word? Interpretation. Like, we can only interpret the word of the Bible. We don't necessarily know everything." And that led me to ask, well, if you don't know anything and you just have to interpret it, can you really say for certain that gay people should be seen as sinners? Can you really say that uh, prostitution should be illegal? Can you really say that God exists? If you don't know anything, all you're doing is interpreting and then speaking it as you know, but you don't know anything. Like, what is faith at that point? What is it? It's just believing blindly in something and hoping that it's true.
Are you so cool with your mom and dad after the whole fact that you left church?
Yeah. I mean, they still like try and talk to me about about the gospel and about like the Bible every now and then. But it's the outcomes of those conversations are always pretty much the same. They'll ask me like, oh, or they'll say like, oh, pray for me or something, and it's like, that's fine. I have no problem with that whatsoever. Because to me, that's just a gesture. That's just a kind gesture to pray for someone. I have no problem with the concept. I don't think it's going to do anything, but there's like, it doesn't hurt anybody. But when somebody in my family wants to talk about like, oh, no, faggot this, faggot that, and I'm like, you shouldn't say that. That's fucked up. Like you're black. You should know that words can have like powerful effects on people.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't say that shit. You're
I'm
being
saying it right now, to be honest.
like I had this like. Do you notice that I paused before I
Yeah.
said that? Like I just like get over like a uneasy little hill before I could even say it. And I didn't say it because I think that it's something that people should say, but I said it because you need to feel the impact of this type of word before you can have this type of conversation about it.
I never said.
And like it's like it's a disgusting feeling just to have that word drop off of my tongue.
I never said that word in my life.
Well, good for you. But you still and you have admitted this to us. You still have negative views about people because of their sexuality. And like, and I'll ask you the same thing that I asked my parents. Like, why are you so against it when it doesn't affect you?
Honestly, like now in my older years, like, and it's starting to affect me less. I'm not trying to like cop out. I'm not trying to have a cop out answer here, but like in my honestly, like the more and more, like it just like the whole idea, I'm kind of like leaning towards just accepting it.
Leaving people alone. All right, but let me press you on that and extend the question a little bit. How is it affecting you?
How did it ever affect you?
Yeah, how is it affecting you right now? Two gay people walk down the street holding hands. How does that hurt you? Affect you at all?
Damn, he took that fine ass man off the market.
Yeah, like is this guy and this guy being together? Does that mean like that you're going to make less money somehow? Does it mean that you're going to die sooner, or that your parents are going to suffer? Like in any actually tangible way? Like, how does this affect you? How does this affect anybody?
Honestly, I see it so often now, like more so than I was in high school. Like I don't know what it is, but like lately, like it's like so much more uh type of that stuff is like out and about now. It's like I don't really care like if I see someone holding hands anymore. It's just like every part of the day, like it's like, okay, cool. And
Sure. We can get to that later, but I'm asking you a very specific question. How does it affect you? Because you didn't say it doesn't affect me. You said it affects me less. How does it affect you? Because less doesn't mean none. It just means less. In what way does the fact that gay people exist or want to get married or want to be loved by one another, how does that affect you? And how does it affect you badly, I should ask? Like negative.
maybe like now how to say the best way to without offending anyone and kind of
Just
like
say it.
it messes with my like head a little bit like
In what way?
that is not like you don't generally see like uh female and a male together. Like I'm just not used to the whole concept by itself.
Wait, what? You don't usually see a female and a male together? Is that what you just said?
No, like you see a female and a male together, but you don't generally see like the opposite. It sticks out to me more.
Yeah, well, of course, they're a minority technically. But
But
then ask me this: you don't see, like you go to anywhere in the United States, you see less black people than white people. Are you okay with black people existing? Does that offend you?
not at all.
But you see less black people than white people. Should you be offended? Shouldn't it mess with your head? There are less of them. There's far more white people. I think we're still like over 70% Caucasian in the United States.
But the
And around the
Caucasian
world, there are much more white people than there are of any other color.
technically the Caucasian like kind of decreasing as the years go on.
Well, yeah, but that's just a byproduct of living with people who are not of the same color. But don't dodge the question. There are more white people than black people. Doesn't it mess with your head when you see Jinsei at work?
No, not at all.
Why?
I would be messing with the heads of these women. They'd be like, who's this fine chocolate brother? Not chocolate, caramel, light skin,
Milk chocolate.
in the Walmart.
Yeah. Shut up, Jinsei. We ain't talking about your sexiness right now, okay?
It's
Fuck off.
my genetics. Like, it's hard to explain, but like, it's how I feel.
Yeah, but a feeling isn't genetic. It's not how that works. A feeling is you taking what you've been taught over time and then applying it to a certain situation. So you were taught that gay people were weird and wrong and unusual, strange, foreign, unacceptable.
Was it ever presented to you, Kaho, like that?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, I was like, I don't think I've ever had anybody ever come up to me and be like, I don't fuck with those people.
Did you go to church very often?
No, not that often. Not that often. But like to a building of no, a building, because like the true definition of church has nothing to do with you going somewhere. You can have church.
I'm very much using it in a way that we commonly describe church as.
Yeah, no. We did everything. My mother was my pastor.
Mm-hmm.
So like a home church.
Yeah, but not like homeschooling, because I would have.
No, it's just like homeschool because now you have this unbreakable bond with Steven. Congratulations, high five.
Why are you always trying to? Anyway, so like, I think I was always taught, or I was taught since I was taught to my mother, and my mother like would be like, "Yeah, there's certain aspects of the Bible I just do not agree with." And the one thing that always stuck out to me, she was like, the order is supposed to be like God, your husband. That's either yourself or your kids, and then yourself. It's the last two. It's the first two, right? But she's like, "Fuck your punk ass daddy." I'm about my kids. Like, so whenever I talk to, especially a woman who is like really deep into the religion, it's like, well, so you're saying that if you had X amount of food and you can only feed your husband, you would only feed your husband and then let your kids starve? And this one of them, she was like, yeah. I was like, damn, you're a terrible mother. So I just left her alone. You know what I mean? Like so. I guess I was taught to be more open-minded about everything, not like follow this shit. Like, this is concrete. This is what it is. That's all it is.
Yeah, and it's very true. Like the way that the Bible teaches is to be very patriarchal. Right? It's supposed to favor men over women. It's supposed to favor the father over the mother. It's supposed to favor the husband over the wife. And like, if fucking divorce ever happens, the woman is supposed to be punished, not the husband. Like, it's just like a bunch of weird shit, and that's how you know that your mom is a critical thinker, because like she called into question what the Bible says. Like, what the fuck? I'm supposed to let my kids starve and feed my husband? Nah, fuck your punk ass daddy. You know, like being a critical thinker doesn't mean you can't be religious. It just means that you question the shit that's being taught to you, because you have to understand. I'm talking to Steven now. You have to understand and remember that God didn't write the Bible. Humans did. Men did. Now you can take the word of God and then write it down. But what if you look at that passage again and say, if I tweak this passage a little bit, as a pastor, it means that bitches will have to do what I think they should do. And I'm not necessarily saying that this is even what happened, but you can't rule out the possibility.
Especially given your storytelling skills, Steven.
Yeah, for real. Like, human beings want to do things that will benefit themselves. That you can claim to be as holy of a man as you want to. Doesn't necessarily mean it's true.
I mean, technically, I feel like I'm not like people think I'm a holy man, but in reality, I'm not really like a holy man. If that
Well, let's take that example, right? You openly admit to not necessarily following the Bible to a T,
yeah,
correct?
correct.
Okay. But you pick and choose though, don't you?
I
You choose to ignore the fact that Jesus says that you're supposed to shelter the homeless, feed the poor, and nurse the sick.
but there's a lot of homeless people.
There are.
Like
It ain't even
That's
funny, but that's
there
just
are. But it's
the response.
yeah, it's completely irrelevant though. Jesus said you're supposed to do this, but you decide not to. You decide to
and
ridicule them instead.
it's like if I were to like try like everybody in our town, there goes all my money and like all my way of supporting. That's a hard thing to do.
Okay, but that's where interpretation comes into play. It's not literally give all of your money away to homeless people. Like you can shelter the homeless by fighting for legislation within your own laws, and the law of man is supposed to exist. Like the Bible does say render unto Caesar what belongs to Caesar, or some bullshit like that. That means that you're supposed to respect the law of man, you know, where it lay. And you can use that system to help pass legislation that would help shelter the homeless. Did you know that if we were to shelter every single homeless person in the United States, if we were to build small homes for them, that we would spend less tax money than we do right now? Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Do you know where tax money goes? Do you know how tax money is spent on homeless people right now?
Um,
Hospitals, shelters, things like that that are paid for with tax. This is money that is 100% going to be used by these different services, and even that is not enough. That's why people are still homeless. That's why people are still hungry. That's why we have people going hungry in the streets on the United States. In the United States, we spend all of this tax money, and it continues. It's a cycle. It's spent over and over. Every single year, we revisit the budget, and then we spend more. And then we go back the next year, revisit that budget, and then spend more. If you were to put someone homeless, a homeless family, into a home, so they have their home. It's a small home. It's not like necessarily glamorous or anything like that, but it's a home. So they have their home, and that is something that tax money does have to help purchase and build. But this is the government, so they get, so these companies that are doing all of this are actual people, actual people who will use this money that's being spent by the government inside their communities, which cycles into stores and fucking restaurants that are run by small families and shit. It's the whole facet of economics, and we could have an entire episode on me explaining how that works to you. But this one-time expenditure puts people in homes, small, unglamorous homes, but homes nonetheless. That means that these people now qualify to have jobs in a lot of cases. That means that these people can now become productive citizens of society. So that means that the money that they earn by holding down a job pays back the taxes that went into giving them a home in the first place. And if you do that en masse, several million people now have homes. Several million people are now paying taxes. How long do you think it's going to take for those losses to be recouped? And on top of that, the economy being pushed forward because you now have more people who are working and buying goods from small families, from other small families. Now you have people who are in a position where they don't have to worry about the home that they're living in being taken from them, being snatched out from under their feet, because this is a home that all homeless people are going to have. Now they can start, putting the money that they earn towards other shit, towards starting new businesses, which means that more people get hired. There are more jobs now. The economy churns on. Now that there are people in homes, they're not sleeping out on the street where they can get robbed or hurt or fall sick due to like the lack of having four walls. They're not exposed to the elements. They don't suffer heat stroke as much. They don't suffer frostbite as much. This means that they don't have to go to the hospital as much. This means that the money that is being put into keeping these people alive, which taxpayers pay for when the person does not have a home, when the person is homeless, they have no source of income, taxpayers pay for their bills. So now they don't have to worry about going to the hospital quite as much. And if they do, now they have a job, so they can pay for their shit by themselves. Where does that tax money go now?
You're fixing roads.
Yeah, to social programs. Fixing roads, making sure that you have firefighters and policemen paid, making sure that kids can have the schools that they're in or the equipment that are in their schools upgraded or just like insulated better, like better insulated walls so you don't have kids sitting inside of a freezing classroom in winter.
Wait,
So now your tax money isn't now you are doing absolutely nothing to pay for these homeless people because homeless people now have homes and are now contributing to our economy, to the United States economy. Now they're paying back the small amount that you kicked in to help, like 32 cents that you kicked in to help buy this person a home.
is this actually like a plan in motion, or is this just you?
No, not in the United States. But you know what? We do have precedent for this shit. Take a look at other countries. They're doing this shit. They're and like they have like homeless rates of like 2% or something like that, or even lower, which is fucking crazy.
Like what
Crazy.
countries?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. Go Google search that shit when we're done with the episode. But like nothing. Don't take anything that I've said as gospel or on faith. Actually, go out and look the shit up. We have precedent for the shit. We have proof that this works. But we don't institute this type of thing in the United States, though. It's the same thing with healthcare. Like you have basically every other first world country has some sort of single payer system, some sort of system where our taxes pay for people to be taken care of when they're sick, to have their legs set back in place when they break it going hiking at no cost to them, or at very, very, very little cost to them. These countries haven't gone bankrupt. In fact, their economies are doing great as a result. Economists around the world say that the United States would save so much fucking money if we went to a single payer system.
Wait,
because
what?
people, what?
What is a single payer system?
A single payer system is when you have the government using taxpayer money to pay for pretty much everyone in the entire United States when they need to go to the doctor. And you might, communism. Not even communism. It's far more akin to socialism. But it's not, though. Because it affects everyone in a positive way. Say you were to break your leg and then get bit by a snake. Go to the doctor. You're like, my leg's like the size of a fucking watermelon right there. Ain't nobody gonna suck the venom out or anything like that, you know. So what do? You know, you go into the emergency room, you get the shit taken care of, or do you suffer and die? What would you do?
Go to the emergency room and take it care of.
Okay, but then like a week later, you're doing better, but then you get a piece of mail from the hospital. It says you $125,000.
Black people don't get that mail. Just so you know. I ain't never ever seen that before.
Yeah, you don't go to the hospital.
Besides that, even if we're there because we're forcing, I ain't get that letter. The hell you talking about?
You can there's plenty of places you can search for like people's medical bills for stupid shit. And like anyone who's worked in insurance, I've worked in insurance, will tell you that hospitals charge crazy shit for the stupidest shit. Like I've seen someone charge, or not someone, I've seen a hospital charge a guy almost $200 for a fucking Band-Aid. And I'm not kidding. This thing that is worth like 4 cents. If you were to open a package, like you buy a box of Band-Aids, right?
Right.
You get like 40 or 50 of them in there. And it only costs you like $4 or $5.
Now in different skin colors.
Like, do the math on that. How much does a single Band-Aid cost?
Like probably
But
like
then you
20 cents.
Yeah, but then you go to the hospital, right? And you have like a checkup, and whatever it is, your you have a deductible. So your insurance company is not going to cover it because of your deductible, which is like say $500 deductible. So if your doctor or your hospital, I should say, decides to charge you like $230 because they examined some inflammation and then gave you a Band-Aid. Does that seem fair to you?
Not at all.
Right, because in the United States we don't negotiate with our doctors, our hospitals. So we don't have to. We don't have to because it's not written in the law. So people end up paying these tremendously fucking bloated bills for stupid shit. When you go over to fucking Europe, or you go to Japan or China or any country that's a first world country, Canada, Mexico, have the same shit happen to you. You walk out a week later, you get that bill, and it's for like $30 as opposed to $125,000 because you got bit by a fucking snake while you were hiking.
I can't wait for Kaho hiking.
I ain't going hiking, nigga. Fuck that.
I told you you're gonna go. You're gonna go if all the homies go. If I'm gonna go, you gotta go.
Nigga, I'm going. I'm wearing full plate armor.
Go ahead, nigga. You gonna be. I sweat off 12 pounds on this hike.
Shit, I sweat off 12 pounds. I ain't paying no fucking big ass hospital bill because a snake got me.
We'll get the white person who invited us along to pay for your bills if you get hit. Don't worry about it, bro. You good.
I got you, Kyle.
If they make it, because if a bear pop out, we tripping them and we run it. So
yeah.
Okay, next question is.
He wasn't done.
I wasn't dumb, motherfucker. You better cut that shit out. Trying to run away from the topic as usual.
I also have a follow-up point that I want to make, but go ahead.
But like I was saying,
because Kaho we guilty of some shit.
This is due in part to the fact, like I said, that we do not negotiate with hospitals because the law doesn't mandate that we do. If you go across the border to Canada or across the border to Mexico, you'll see that their laws do mandate this shit. And because of that, you get and people are like, well, how are we going to pay doctors? How are we going to pay like the difference in pay here and in Mexico is minimal when it comes to doctors. Minimal. I would go so far as to say, in my own opinion, that it's completely insubstantial. And in some countries, doctors make more. Go to any Asian country, doctors make more pound for pound than doctors do here in the United States.
Wait, doctors make more over there than here?
No, I said Asian countries. I said in Mexico, the doctors make roundly the same amount.
Gotcha.
Do you have any idea how that's possible? How is it possible that the government uses taxpayer money to pay for every single procedure for its citizens, which means that they negotiate prices, much, much lower prices, but doctors still make the same-ish or more than they do in the United States? How is that possible?
Because they have the system.
That doesn't mean anything. What system? What are you talking about?
The one... I don't know. Go ahead.
It's possible because it eliminates the for-profit middleman, which are insurance companies. Do you know what overhead is?
Yes, when there's too many of the same kind, saturation.
No. Overhead is basically
many-
operating cost.
Too many like managers and not enough workers.
No, stop it. Stop saying this stuff that you don't know about. Overhead is operations cost. So you have the insurance companies, right? They have somebody sitting behind a desk who calls who gets a call from a hospital when they have somebody who belongs to their insurance company, who pays into their insurance company, who purchased one of their insurance plans. So this person in the insurance company now has to go through a backlog of information about this person, about the patient, to see if there's anything that they can disqualify this patient on. Did this person have a pre-existing condition? Did this person at any point in time have asthma? Or did they have have they been to the hospital before? For something similar? Did they have the cold recently? They have a cold recently? They have the flu recently? Any of like a million different types of situations can disqualify you because you had a pre-existing condition. You know what happens after that? After you've been disqualified for a pre-existing, some of the times these things are completely of no fault, or you are completely faultless when it comes to these things.
Oh.
Like say Stephen, for example. Actually, no, I can't say that because it would give away some personal information. All right, so say for example, there is a small child who's born with asthma.
Okay.
His signs of asthma start developing when he's like 6 or 7 years old, right?
Right.
But it's fine. His the amount that it costs for his inhaler is still under the deductible price, which is usually around $500. So his parents have to pay out of pocket for each inhaler, 60, $70, whatever. They're fine. They're well off enough that they can pay that, every couple of months. So then this kid grows up to become healthy, contributing member of society, works 40 hours a week, but has an accident, completely not his fault. Like somebody else runs off the sidewalk on their bike, or runs onto the sidewalk with their bike, depending on which state you live in, and hits him. And he as a result of that, he has like a leg or foot injury, which means he can't work until he gets this taken care of, because at his job he's on his feet all the time. But the insurance company looks at it and like, okay, all right. Let's see what we can do for you. Oh, we see here, back when you were 6 or 7, that your parents put into your record that you used to have asthma. Unfortunately, this having asthma qualifies you as someone who had a pre-existing condition, meaning that we are not liable for your hospital bill. So you have to pay for it yourself.
That's ridiculous.
That's how it works, though.
How many scenarios do you think that actually happens?
Let me put it to you this way. The number one, in the United States of America, the number one reason why people go bankrupt is because of medical bills. Not because of bad decisions, not because of gambling, not because their business just isn't doing very well and they put all of their money into it, but it flops anyway. The number one reason why people in this country go bankrupt is because of medical bills. And the vast majority, the lion's share of those cases, is because those people did not qualify for some procedure to be paid for by their insurance company because of pre-existing conditions. And it's usually something very stupid and insidious, like you had asthma when you were a child. Sorry, we can't help you with your cancer treatment.
That's kind of messed up.
That's what?
Kind of messed up.
It's 100% messed up. And do you know why insurance companies do that?
because they want to get out of money, paying for money.
Yeah.
Because they're greedy.
The money that goes to these insurance companies is usually paid out of pocket by the people for their families, for themselves, on a monthly basis. And insurance premiums can be really fucking high. You can have several hundred, if not thousands of dollars a month. But people want to feel safe. They want that sense of security, so they pay for the shit. And then years down the line, several thousands, tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars later with their insurance company, they get denied by their insurance company. And they do that because the less money that an insurance company spends to take care of the people who purchase this insurance, the more profit they make.
They're scamming.
It's completely legal, so it's technically not a scam. But those people now have to file for bankruptcy because their cancer treatment is going to cost several $1,000s a day. Just to keep mom or dad in a bed in an ICU for their chemotherapy treatment is going to cost tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands, depending on the stage of cancer. The majority of people in America cannot pay that, so they file for bankruptcy. Who picks up the bill when someone files for bankruptcy?
The next person?
The government.
Government.
When the government buys when they buy the bankruptcy case, how do they pay for it?
Tax return.
Not tax returns, but taxpayer money. So do you understand the weird dichotomous circle there, where people are like, oh, you should be proud that you can pay for insurance, but then when somebody goes bankrupt, it's you, Steven, the person who's paying taxes, who ends up paying for that person's medical treatment because they had to file for bankruptcy.
That's ridiculous.
Whereas if the government could negotiate prices with hospitals, you would still be paying, you would still be helping out, your fellow citizens in this country. You would still be helping them to pay for their bills, for their medical bills, but it would be far, far less, because there is no rapacious middleman who's taking a cut. There's no overhead. You're only paying for the procedure, nothing else. So that several hundred thousands of dollars that a person would pay to have a cancer treatment, and then the therapy that follows afterwards, is reduced to a couple thousand. Because it doesn't take much to pay a doctor what he's worth. It takes a lot more to pay back those years and years and years worth of money that each person who belongs to an insurance plan paid into it, and then basically got gypped out of. And now that bill goes straight to the taxpayers. So think about that. Think about taxpayer money being spent, like, say someone needs chemotherapy, right? And now that the government can negotiate prices, instead of it being like thousands, sometimes $10,000s per day, it's like $200 per day, because the doctor isn't sitting there and nursing one patient the entire time. Doctors move around and they help several different patients. So the government is paying for several different patients. So that $200, $300 bill, it racks up, admittedly, but it's not like a year later, 22, 25 people filing for bankruptcy, who were in the same hospital in the same day, because they cannot pay anywhere from 20 to several hundred thousands of dollars worth of medical bills.
That's crazy.
It is. It's fucking insane. And like I said, we have precedent from this. You can go and look at publicly available records from in different countries that show you just how much it takes to pay doctors and surgeons and all different numbers of medical staff in other countries, compare it, and then like do a per capita comparison when it comes to the amount of tax money that is made in our country versus theirs. And per capita also includes the amount of citizenry they have in their company versus ours. And anyone who has a like the smallest brain in their fucking head will look and see and say, wow, that is really fucked up. That's really fucked up how these other countries are paying their medical staff right around the same amount, if not more. But the taxpayers are paying so much less. So many, like, medical bankruptcy basically doesn't exist in other countries. Only in this one. Only in this one can somebody get sick and die in the street because they can't pay for a treatment. No other country has that. How many in the last 10 years, how many people do you think died in I don't know, Great Britain because they couldn't afford their medicine compared to the United States?
Not a whole lot.
0. 0 people died.
How many?
Big old fat fucking goose egg.
How many people died in the U.S.?
Let's Google it. Let's see. Let's see. Deaths in the U.S. from keep going. Don't do the whole dead air shit.
So another thing is I want to know what like Jinsei's opinion in all this.
What?
What's
This
he
man laid out a buffet of facts. What opinion is necessary? Like, you can't argue against anything he said. What are you talking about? I can't tell him. Hey, what am I supposed to say? Hey, you wrong, man. No, hell no.
All right, here you go. How many people died from low health care in 2019? The study estimates that 5 million people die every year because of poor quality health care in low and middle income countries. That's significantly more than the 3.6 million in those countries who die from not having access to health care.
That's insane.
All right, see here. More than 26,000 Americans die each year because of lack of health insurance. All right, so the comparison here is these are third world countries versus the United States.
And the third world countries are doing better.
No, I mean in third world countries they don't have social safety nets for the most part. So people die in third world countries. But let's see. Let's see how many died in Great Britain in 2019 because of medical expenses. Zero.
That's insane.
So 26,000 people die in the United States every year because of lack of medical expenses. That's not even including people who go bankrupt. That's not even including people who have to who have to file for bankruptcy because they can't pay for it. That's just people who die because they do not have insurance.
So Biden needs to get on that and fix our issue.
Oh, Biden is like, I think I've said this before, but Biden's basically Republican.
So we need a Democrat.
Not even necessarily a Democrat, because like he's technically a Democrat in name. In name he is, but we need like it doesn't. They can be Republican, they can be Democrat. It doesn't fucking matter. All that matters are the policies that this person pushes. If Donald Trump had come out and said, "Hey, we're gonna do a single payer system, and I'm gonna push for that shit as hard as I fucking can," and he did, and he rallied people to primary people like Mitch McConnell in the Senate so that they would lose their job and he could get people in there who believed in his vision, I would be a Trump supporter. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that. He did the exact same thing that pretty much every president has done since fucking FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, was the only person who actually put this system into place, who gave us a single payer healthcare system. Like, have you ever heard of the golden age in the United States?
Yes, I have.
The roaring, like, was it the roaring 20s? I think it was. Like, the golden age followed all of that bullshit. It followed the collapse. Who do you think was in office right after that? I just gave you the name. I don't expect you to remember it, so I'm just going to say it. FDR.
Dang it, I was getting it.
FDR came in and he started pushing policies, and Democrats and Republicans both voted for this nigga. He was elected to office 4 times in a row. Landslide victories.
That's insane.
People fucking loved him. People loved that wheelchair-bound motherfucker. He did do some stupid shit. Like the whole, like, internment camps and shit like that. That was fucked up.
Wait, what did he do?
But internment camps, like, you know, right around World War II.
Oh, yeah. Like, with the different, like, races and stuff.
Japanese people.
That was messed up.
Yeah, well, Asian people in general, but Japanese mostly. Yeah, that was fucked up. But the policies that he pushed for his citizenry, this does include people who were in internment camps, made him so fucking popular that he got elected 4 times to presidency. Like, the Republicans had to say, yo, we got to introduce term limits to keep this motherfucker from being in office, or he's just going to keep getting elected.
That's what generated terms?
Yeah, that's what brought about presidential term limits. Was Franklin Delano Roosevelt being elected over and over and over because the people of the country fucking loved him. Because he made life so much easier for people. What, you're going to ask what?
Can I ask you a question, Kaho?
What's that?
How did he become such a critical thinker?
See, that's actually a hard question. Because there's really no quantifying it. Like, I just thought about the things being told to me. I just, like, whenever somebody would tell me something, I would just think about it. And, like, in my mind, if I'm trying to look at it from the most rational, like, direction that I can, and it doesn't make any sense, then I sit back and I just think, I'm like, huh. If that doesn't make sense to me, then how do I make sense of this? And if I can't, which is most often the case, like, I was just a fucking kid. I can't make sense of a lot of shit. I don't know that much at this point. You know, I'm still in elementary school. I'm still in middle school, not elementary. I'm still in middle school. I don't know too much about the world. I only know what I've been taught in school.
So what do you think your IQ level is right now?
Oh, I have no idea. I haven't taken a test in a very long time. I couldn't tell you. Probably a lot higher than yours and Jinsei's, though.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
Just enabling us thing. Bro, like, that's the only shit we need webcams for. I make a lot of faces that the people need to see when your ass get to talking. Like, God damn. Hey, so Kaho, let me touch base on this before y'all get into whatever next, right? So, you know, we committed a cardinal sin.
What's that?
We became an enabler for Steven.
Did we? What did we do?
We did.
The fuck?
So like, when we were talking about that, I was thinking about it. Steven actually showed me the text messages between him and Billy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Given Steven's stance on, you know, homelessness and shit like that. So I was just thinking, it's like, if Billy told this man, hey, I really need your help or else I'm gonna be homeless. And, you know, he gave him that dry ass Steven responsive, you know. But I can't take care of you. You know what I mean? Like, you whatever the fuck Steven say. You know, that's kind of fucked up, right?
My perspective or his perspective?
Shut up, motherfucker. I mean, that's fucked up. Like, you. So this is what I'm getting at, though. Look through his messages, right? Not once did Steven ever ask him, hey, what do you need the money for? You said it's an emergency. Like if I hit you up, Kyle, and I was like, bro, I'm in need, brother. I'm in need. You'd be like, well, what you need it for? Right?
Yeah.
You might blindly give it to me because it's, whatever. But
Depends on how much it is.
But
yeah, but it's like,
Shut up, Steven. He's talking.
Steven Fry beat your ass. Anyway, so yeah. You would ask me what it's for. Not once did Steven ever ask him, hey, what is this for? And I was just like, damn, because this man came and told us a story, this is what we enabled him, right? And we told him how fucked up it was on one side or the other, even though we did preface it with, if you're completely telling the truth.
Yeah.
He was able to go ahead and run with the idea that he can go ahead and tell him off and say, hey, no, I'm not giving you no money, without doing any kind of research prior. Like he just like, hey, the boys told me I ain't gotta give you shit. So I ain't giving you nothing, dog. Like, that's how
but
Steve
I did though.
You did what?
No, like I gave him money before this incident.
I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about after he left. I'm giving you the scenario. The scenario was clear, right? He said he moved. He said he was going through something with his lady or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, this is that in one ear out the other shit that I was talking about.
Okay.
But let me respond to that. The reason why, I mean, I do agree with you, but only to an extent. The reason why it's not exactly the same as like saying, hey, take care of your homeless citizens, United States, is because when it comes to people being homeless in the US, you have the actual optics of it. You can see people living under bridges. You can see people living in fucking tent cities, basically.
Mm-hmm.
You can see people on the corner, like in a wheelchair, missing a leg, saying, "Look, I have nothing. I need help." You can see that shit. When it comes to this single person with Steven, like all we have to go on is Steven's word. And yes, admittedly, that's very, very rocky ground. So you have to take everything that Steven says with a grain of salt. But this nigga still had a cell phone, didn't he? Homeless people have cell phones too, but this nigga was he like on the street? Did we know that he was on the street? Like there are too many things at play that we just have to take Steven's word for. Now, if I could fly down there, like, and not have to worry about time or money, and like watch this nigga for like an hour, 2 hours just to see what the fuck he does, then I would be like, and if I were to see him, like working for under the table pay or something because he can't get a job due to whatever circumstance that it is, or if I could see him, like coming out of his house like with his head down and shit, and his wife like walks out after him, stupid motherfucker, you got a small dick, all that shit, and see that this person is in like a very stressful situation, in which it just makes it hard to live. Makes it hard to be motivated to, because people stress, depression, all that shit that can compound on top of this type of thing. If we had some sort of direct sense of proof that Steven was giving his money to somebody who really, really fucking needed it, and who was just in a bad way, who was trying to find a job but he couldn't, who was like shaking a cup on a corner because he had no other options available to him, then my response would have been different. But like I said, the only thing that we had to go on was what Steven told us. Neither of us know this nigga, or at least I think neither of us know this nigga like that.
Well, Jinsei kind of knows him.
Well, I don't know him like that.
Knowing of someone is not the same thing as knowing them.
I don't know him to the point to where he would ask me for money.
Right.
I'm gonna make it a point when I get to work to ask somebody else who was a mutual friend to see if they asked them for money.
Right.
But what I was getting at it's just that in that specific instance, I feel like we're the ones who boosted him up to be able to tell old boy off.
Okay, well, some people need that though. Like in this situation, if Steven is telling the truth,
without doing any research. Yeah, without him asking any questions or anything like that. It was just more like it was like text. I can tell you one like this: it was like text, ask Steven, and then we had our conversation, and then the next day, Steven was like, "Okay, look, I had a conversation with the boys, and they was like, nah, you need to stop that."
Mhm.
So it's like ignore him for 3 days, and then talk to us, and then go ahead and go respond. I was like, I
Right.
just feel like you just need to you could have asked him, "Hey, what's it for?" Like, bro, if it's just like to buy you something to drink because you don't know how to spend your money. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna do that.
All right.
Like, you're in
Okay.
a
Well,
real serious situation.
I see your point. I see your point.
But
Well, in that case, yeah, I do agree. Like we could have told him to say, "Hey, what's it for?" Or like, "Hey, like show me some receipts." Something.
but
Shout out Steven. We could have, but I think that the reason why I guess I neglected that point is because this is something that I would expect anyone to do. And
Oh, fair enough.
that's not an excuse necessarily, but I would expect, like, if you came to me and you were to tell me some shit like this, and I were to, tell you the same shit that we told Steven, I would expect you would go back and ask this motherfucker, like, "Hey, what you need this for? Before I tell you to kick rocks, what do you need it for?" It's because it's just like, I don't know, I guess common human interaction when it comes to these types of situations. You're not supposed to be apathetic, but you're also not supposed to let people take advantage of you. And in order to not be apathetic without without having someone take advantage of you, you have to ask about the situation. You need proof, you need receipts.
so did I
So
blow
this is I don't know. We don't know. That's the problem.
the way I
So did I what?
Did I blow it?
out of proportion?
We don't
I mean,
know.
you could have.
We won't know
I
until we have proof.
Even if somebody hands me if Kaho handed me his phone and was like, "Here, look what I'm skimming." Like I'm not reading into detail on these messages. I don't know why I do that. Even if you tell me to go look, I'm like, all right. I point out 7 words. Okay, I can make a sentence out of this. Okay,
Because you're
cool.
lazy, you lazy fuck.
That has nothing to do with it. I just think it's like certain, like if you're texting somebody, sometimes that shit just ain't supposed to be out there like that.
Yeah.
But see, I know this person's background, and I know that like he does like.
I don't think you know anybody's background, Steven. Stop.
Okay, I know.
You know he does what? You know he does what? Go ahead.
Like he does like he smokes and like blunts and stuff like.
So what? What does that have to do with anything, motherfucker?
But like all I know, he'd be spending my money and going to buy weed or something like that instead of
Okay, but do you have proof though? That's what we're talking about. That's the key. The key to this entire thing is proof. Do you have proof?
I don't have proof.
Then say no more, motherfucker. Say no more. Because nothing that you say at this point. You have a strong feeling. Is that what you're gonna fucking tell me? Get the fuck out of here. Intuition. You are the least intuitive person in I don't know. You are not very intuitive though.
Okay, hey, I could have made a mistake, but I felt like he was asking me for money a lot more than just one time.
Okay. And we're not necessarily saying that you are in the wrong because you might have done the right thing. We're just saying that we didn't tell you to do this thing because we assumed that you would, but you didn't. And the reason why I assumed that you would is because most people, I would say the vast majority of people, would actually do this thing. That is, ask, like why? Ask what you need this for. Like show some empathy, but be cautious about it.
And to me, like I got to the point where I was like done showing empathy, if that makes any sense.
Well, you're done showing empathy for people who are homeless, so I'm not surprised. But I don't know why you're trying to rationalize this. I just told you that you didn't necessarily do anything wrong, so cut it out. You're making yourself look bad at this point. Like you're just fucking. The only thing that's coming in, like Yeah, well, remember, I'm a Republican, guys. No, I know, no, yeah, but I understand, but Republican. You like cut it out, motherfucker. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're digging your own hole, your own grave here.
Got it. Okay, I'll be quiet.
You need to be quiet. Just stop saying stupid shit. Make yourself look bad in front of all the people listening to us. I mean, not that that's like unusual or anything.
Jinsei got anything?
No, I was just like, it definitely sounded like you over here. Like, look. So I came fast. So what? So I came. Your pussy didn't have to be so good, man. What's wrong with you? Like, listen. I ain't never felt the pussy like this. It's just excuses for what? Busting the nut quick. Okay. So you buzz quick, Steven. It's okay. Don't worry, man.
Ain't your fault your dick's so little.
Why you always gotta do that, Kaho?
What? Talk about his.
Yeah.
Make him so what? Make him uncomfortable.
I'm pretty comfortable.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. That's that posturing I was talking about the other day.
I'm gonna give you a giant hug when I see you, Kaho.
All right, you gonna catch a giant throat punch too. Nigga, you better stay away from me.
Ain't nothing coming from a 5'7" man gonna be giant. Stop it, nigga. What are you talking
No, I'm
about?
5'8".
Let's talk about Kaho.
You're talking about me, and I'm also 5'8".
That's weird that I'm taller than Kaho.
In one ear, out the fucking other. Did you not just hear me say I'm 5'8", bitch?
You
Okay.
think he's 5'8.1"? Taller than you, dog.
This nigga is like 5'8" and not even. I can't even say 0.1. 5. You missing some shit on the inside though. So, like, you kind of hollow in there.
Yeah, it is.
How much you weigh, Kaho?
I don't know. I haven't weighed myself in a while.
135.
I don't know.
Take a guess.
Oh, fuck. 180, 185. I don't know.
180.
Yeah.
135.
All right, but you a little bitch nigga though.
Emma. No doubt about that.
Like I keep fucking weights here in my room. I got a gym right up the street that I go to every other day.
So every day you can go get buffer.
I can also injure myself.
Good point.
Got me feel like a fatty. I'm only 235 pounds of thickness.
Man, get fatter.
Yeah, but you're also like what, 6'7" or some shit like that.
Stop it. If I was that tall.
What's the weather like up there, nigga?
No, just
I don't know, but the clouds are high, just like me, buddy. Bruh, if I was 6'7", dog, like y'all wouldn't even be my friends. So I can't be no friend with no nigga who can't see the top of the refrigerator.
Hey,
All right, you bitch ass nigga.
Jinsei is taller than me though.
Yeah, Steven, we know this. Damn, Steven, the fuck?
I don't know. I might. Be, I mean, since fucking since COVID, like I haven't been like going out and doing shit as much, so I might be a little heavier than that. I don't know.
Speaking of COVID, I want to ask you guys a question.
Go ahead.
How do you keep a relationship going in COVID? Like, what do you do? Kaho, since just technically a single man right now.
Exactly the same shit that I do otherwise.
Good point.
Yeah, what the fuck? COVID doesn't affect a relationship if you don't have COVID.
That's not what he's saying.
Like,
what's he saying?
Fucking stupid. What he's saying is, I can't go outside and do nothing and go nowhere.
Yes, you can.
Exactly.
You can still go out and do shit. You just don't fucking go to where places are crowded. Like you can still go out on a hike. You can still go fucking, I don't know.
You think I'm not even trying to go down this path with you, nigga, but since you said it, you think Steven and Tiffany going out on a hike?
Tiffany has no bone ligaments.
Nigga, what? Are you fucking dating Cotton from King of the Hill? Like, what the fuck is going on here?
So like sometimes when me and Tiffany are in a parking lot, right? Sometimes I like to go on the little like the what are they called? Like they're like a tree, and then there's like a brick, but it's around the tree. What is that called?
This is calling an island for right now. Go ahead.
An island. So like I'm like I'm walking on like balancing on an island here, and like Tiffany says I can't do that. I'm walking around. I'm like okay, fine, and I continue on my little diddly daddly, and here she is.
What the fuck did you just say?
Diddly.
Anyway, keep going.
But anyways, she can't like do the stuff I can do, pretty much.
Oh my god. Will you stop revealing your girl's secrets to the internet, please? Like
You
I could
might
have
have to.
I mean I could have
laughed,
stopped you.
and I felt bad.
I could have stopped you at any point, but like you had already pretty much told everybody. So like the explanation didn't really matter. But like next you'll say, oh yeah, she got 2 left feet, literally. Like
Yeah.
the big toe is on the right side of her foot on both of her feet.
He was about to say something.
Yeah, like,
about to say
how did you know?
So let me find out Kaho out here fucking on Tiffany behind your back. That's why she always mad at you.
No, we call that bipolar.
Yeah, whatever. Completely separated from the point there. Oh, Whale Lord is not my favorite Pokemon, so I prefer other Pokemon.
Tell me about it. You know how hard it was to evolve him
Bruh.
in Pokemon Go?
Bruh.
I don't. Shut up, Jinsei. I don't because I never got one.
I had to spend like a whole 2 weeks going around my little park at the whaleware nest.
You eventually got it though, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, but I'm a level 37 in Pokemon Go.
Cool. Moving on.
1209, 1206, 1206. However many, how long?
2 minutes, 2 hours and 6 minutes.
All right, 2 hours and 3 minutes. I had to skip straight to that shit and play that shit at work. Okay, for sure.
About what?
You'll see, Steve.
Pokemon.
Yeah, the Pokemon.
Yeah, what was the base of the question? Oh yeah, COVID shit. Like even if she's not highly mobile, like that doesn't mean you can't like go on a drive, you know, or like go on a fucking picnic somewhere. There's a lot of shit that you can do without being active. You know, it's all about in that circumstance at least. It's all about the setting. It's all about like the fact that you're doing something, not necessarily what it is that you're doing.
What is it that you're trying to do that you can't do besides go to the?
It's like weird. Like I ask her to go do stuff, but then she like when her family's around, then she like switches it up and saying like, "Yeah, we did nothing today because Steven doesn't want to go anywhere." But like when we're together, she's all like, "Yeah, that's."
Did I ask you? Did I ask him that?
That's not what you asked him.
What do you ask me?
I asked you. I asked you. What is it that you want to do that COVID is preventing you from doing?
Bowling. I can't go bowling. Theoretically, you can't really do movies quite yet. But even though I think they're open, but still, you can't really.
So your movie shit that they have the you have a car, so they had the outdoor theaters for like a long time now, a while here.
But I don't
even believe that'd be more comfortable than actually going and sitting up in one of them little ass chairs. See, Kaho, you got me doing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not like they're playing every night.
Okay, you act like you need to go every night, motherfucker. You only spend 2 days with her, basically. And I'm pretty sure it's open at night, Thursday night, Wednesday night, whatever it is.
Modesto, right? Or a series?
A series. See, you already know what I'm talking about. You just didn't want to go do that.
I think
just saying, the shit that is available to you is the shit that you don't want to do with Tiffany. You got to look at it at the core. That is the core fact. Go ahead.
Didn't we touch on this when you bought her a fucking Switch? Like it's not about you all the time,
no,
motherfucker.
I know that.
All right, that's all I had to say.
Yeah, I I would have a problem maintaining a relationship because the shit that most people want to do, I just don't want to do. That's just all it is to it. And I'm just not in a space of compromise. Tahoe has this great level of compromise that he achieves. And I'm just sitting there like, nigga, it couldn't be me right now. That's just my
Mhm.
current space though. But it's like, honestly, until I'm able to compromise, then I'll be able to entertain a relationship. And then also somebody has to make me come along, or somebody has to come along and make me want to do some shit.
What's compromise mean?
It does
It's an
not.
exact
It does not surprise me that you don't know what that word
exactly.
means,
I'm really not surprised. I can't believe it.
nigga. Compromise is when you
Give me an
agree.
example. Yeah, give me an example.
All
Don't.
right. So, for example, like say Taylor's like, "Hey, I want to go for a hike," and I'm like, big ass like giant spiders and fucking snakes and shit.
Or it's
I
raining.
I ain't really trying to die. It's not raining because people don't go hiking when it's raining unless they're just fucking Steven colored. I'm like, I don't really. I'm not a hiker. I don't really care to go hiking. Let's do something else. And she's like, look, Nick, I want to go hiking. Like, you want to do anal. You know, we go hiking and then butt stuff. That's compromise. I'm now doing something that I don't want to do because I know that, like, hey, she's getting something out of it. I'm getting something out of it.
Okay.
That's what compromise is. It's when both sides come together and agree to something that usually wouldn't be on the table because now both people are sacrificing something.
Got it. Okay.
Do you actually get it?
Compromising is like you're not giving them an apple, but you're giving them a grape.
Mm.
It wasn't even worth explaining this shit to him. Like I even put it in like a really easily digestible analogy.
I think you should apply it to him with Tiffany. I want to see how you can do it.
All right, so check it out. Say
Alley oop.
say Tiffany is like, "Hey, Steven, I want to go and I don't know. I don't know what the fuck Tiffany like. I want to go to
Shopping.
I want to go to I want to go to the Cheesecake Factory." Right? And you're like,
Not the Cheesecake Factory.
I don't really care. Like cheese, they got the cheesecakes. They're not dense enough. They're kind of airy. Not. It just feels like fat-free cheesecake to me. But she's like, I really, really want to go. Okay, so if you take me to the Cheesecake Factory, then later on, um, we can go bowling. When normally she would be against bowling. I'm not saying that she is. Pay attention. In this hypothetical situation, Tiffany does not like bowling, and you do not like Cheesecake Factory.
So we trade off.
That's compromise.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
That's what compromise is. And it's a huge part of most relationships. What?
Just learn how to compromise. He gonna be on here next week talking about. So I'm getting married in a week, y'all.
Only thing that
He was missing one of the like basic building blocks of a relationship.
Yeah.
And now he's got it, and it's like the sky's the limit, nigga.
Yeah, I'm getting married next week. We in here.
But yeah, that's what compromise is. It's sometimes in order to not just to make the other person happy, but in order to make yourself happy, in order to get the shit that you want, sometimes you have to give away something. Sometimes you have to do some shit that you don't want because it's going to make the person that you're with happy. And that's you can call it sacrifice, you can call it whatever the fuck you want to, but it's a huge part of relationships. Sacrifice is a huge part of relationships. Both of you want something out of the relationship. So you have to go into it understanding that both of you are going to have to give. Both of you are going to have to sacrifice. Both of you are going to have to compromise.
And that makes sense.
And that's why we came down so hard on you about the fucking Switch thing. Because that was you refusing to compromise. 100%. Stupid motherfucker.
I just think he did the shit all kind of. Instead of buying 2 Switches, you just bought 1. I think I did some shit like that before, but it was like she had like some real interest in playing Pokemon, so I bought. And I already had a DS, so I bought her a DS, and then I bought both games so she could play one and I could play one. But I feel like that's doing it the right way. Your ass bought a Switch, one game, and you played it the whole entire time.
I mean, in the like in that specific situation, if she was like, because like people hold like birthdays and Christmas, you know, these fucking like traditional holiday-esque things. People hold them in high regard, you know, and when you buy a gift for someone, it is like you when you whatever it is that you give them, it is you tacitly saying, this is what I think that you're interested in. And if it's something that that person is interested in, it is far more like there's a far greater feeling of appreciation, because it means that you are not only thinking about that person, but that you are paying enough attention to that person to actually know what it is that they like, what they enjoy, and what they want. But as it was in your case, if you go into this birthday, this thing that this person holds in a high regard, and then you give them something that they don't necessarily dislike, but have never indicated that they want or like in general, then that person is like, okay, he's not even bothering to pay attention to me when I tell him this is what I like. Over the years that I've known you, it doesn't seem to have sunk in that you know, that the things that I've told you, the things that I'm interested in, this is something that you're interested in. So you spent your money on something you're interested in, not something that I'm interested in. And it's my birthday. This day is about me, but you made my birthday about you. That's what she said.
Not to Steven, though.
No. Let's not ask for miracles here.
On airtime, 2 hours and.
You know, whenever Steven says that shit, that's him saying, hey guys, I'm tired. Steven tired. Steven wants sleep. Steven need nappy.
I'm doing back-to-back shifts.
What he means is, Kaho, is that tomorrow or later today, he closes. So he works. And there's some shit that's not even supposed to be like that, but whatever. I get it because it's Friday and Saturday, and Saturday's a new week, but whatever. He works from 1 to 10, a closing shift. Then he turns around and he works 7 to 4 the next day.
And then he does that again? The day after that, 1 to 10, and then 7 to 4 again?
Not all the time, but like half the time.
No, it's just that he really only gets like, if he wants 8 hours of sleep, he really only gets like what? An hour to relax after getting off of work.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that, but the way that he phrased it, though, made it seem like, oh, I work back to back every day this week.
No, he just works back to back the next.
So one day, okay. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not that. It still, you know, kind of sucks, but it just seems like feel sorry for me, guys.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Cool.
Thanks.
All right. So if we're done talking for the night, Jinsei, got anything else that you want to talk about before we?
I think I'm good. think that's good.
Right.
We spent another 2.5 hours and we ain't touched nothing on no anime yet. So
That's true. That's true. We'll get it next time. I ain't watching anime this week anyway, so
Watch videos.
I mean, I ain't really watched nothing either, but whatever.
We'll get on it. Me and Jinsei.
No, we haven't. Oh my god.
when we were taking we were in the bathtub scrubbing each other down. We talked about the anime because we're that close. We are that close.
Oh, I'm
Just
sorry.
so the listenership knows,
This nigga got silenced. Kid Steven came up behind him and put a ball gag in his mouth. No more talking. Only silence. So Jinsei is clearly disconnecting or something, which means he's not going to be able to do his little part of the outro. Either disconnecting or lagging. I don't fucking know. But we'll call it there. I meant to do it at the beginning of the show because some people that have been messaging me, they always tell me, like, yo, by the end of the show, once you guys are wrapping up, I don't always listen to the end, so you should probably do it at the top of the show, which is my mistake on this part. I'll try to remember to do it in the future, but what that is saying this. If you enjoy what we're talking about, if you like what you're hearing, check the description down below. It's going to have all the links to our Twitter, social media shit. Give us a thumbs up and hit the like button. It helps us out. It really does. We've been seeing, because some people have been hitting the like button, we've been seeing a little bit of growth. That's good. Now, it would really help out if the rest of you who actually listen, especially our repeat listeners, would just hit the thumbs up button to like it, if you like what you hear. And even like just hit it at the beginning of the episode so you don't even have to think about it at the end of the episode. And if by the end of the episode you just didn't like it, you can always reverse that decision. You can always take that thumbs up away or, hit the thumbs down button, whatever it is. So yes, please help us out by giving the video a like. If you're not subscribed, but you come back and listen to us anyway, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Turn that bell on so you can get notified when our videos drop. They're going to be a little bit staggered because I've been asking Steven to actually do some editing as opposed to just recording and uploading. So the release date, it's still going to be right around the same, but it might be a little bit later in the day. That being said, make sure you check out Steven's channel, Anime Alley. He does anime reviews there. We haven't been talking about very much anime, so maybe that can hold you over until we actually do get back into it. Steven is, speaking of Steven, he has another little startup thing that he's going to be doing pretty soon. We're going to go vague on the details for now, but look forward to it. He's going to try and make a fool of himself or something like that. It's supposed to be funny, but it's Steven we're talking about. With that said, Jinsei is no longer here, so he can't do the praise, the shout to our Lord and Savior, Ayotunde Skidi Bobo. So I only pray that Ayo will forgive us for not chanting his name at the end of this episode. I promise, so long as Jinsei is actually here, we will do it next time. But that's all we've got. I would ask Steven if he has anything to add, but I don't want him to add anything. All right, so we will see you guys next week.